Hi, my name is Julia, and about 3 years ago, I came back to Earth. And yes, you heard that right. I came back to Earth. It all happened during my summer's holidays in the most wonderful Polish Suwalszczyzna. It was the afternoon, and I was laying in the middle of the lake, just me, my paddleboard, and no one else around. Some cows and some birds could be heard in the distance, but besides that, absolutely nothing else. And that moment was the highest peak of serendipity I felt in my entire life. 3 of my senses were actually activated. It was my touch, hearing, and sight. I felt the water brushing my palms, I felt the wind on my body, and I felt the afternoon sun shining on my face. And in that, I have felt, and I knew back then, that actually the importance of nature and your connection to it should be a vital part of our everyday lives. But since society has evolved into humans who are now sitting at desk from the famous 9 to 5 cycle, and students are stressed, overwhelmed, overworked, and our generation, my generation Z, is actually the generation with the most mental health issues. And as well, 1 in 5 European teens has reported poor to very poor mental well-being. And with all of that, we seem to accept the reality that we live in. But what if there was another way? What if there was something that was always there, but we just tend to overlook it? You know, there's a famous quote from a film called Ferris Bueller's Day Off. You might know it. It goes, life can move by pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around every once in a while, you could miss it. And right now, it's probably important to remind yourself of that stop, switch off. With that, I wanted to introduce you to this concept called the biophilia hypothesis. It was originally formulated by Aristotle in the ancient times, and its definition is actually love for life. But also, philia, which means friendship, is equally as important in our process of happiness. Because Aristotle was very keen on saying that reciprocity is an incredibly important part of our lives. Friendship, which is reciprocity by both parties. That's why we might feel better actually spending time outside. It's a place of friendship and of joy. You might recall some summer nights at the Vistula boulevards with your friends, or even being there by yourself, being just there, peaceful, calm in a way, right next to the river. Or, I cannot stress this enough, but finally getting out after a long, cold day and a ray of sunshine hitting your face. It's a beautiful feeling, isn't it? And it's actually, there's science behind biophilia. It's not something that I have just come up with. And it comes all the way from the stars. Because there's this thing called galactic chemical evolution. Since all of the elements that our bodies contain were eventually originated from the stars, from multiple supernovas, like hydrogen, nitrogen, sulfur, all of that. Actually, hydrogen, which is about 9.5% of our bodies, and some lithium, which our bodies contain in very tiny amounts, have originated from the Big Bang, says Dr. Ashley King. And with all of that, you can just imagine philosophy and science having a baby, boom, you got biophilia. And there are some ways in which you can practice biophilia every single day. And no, I'm not going to say that you must ride a bike to school or that a walk might be good for you, even if it does. But I want you to remember sensory integration, for example. It was defined in 1972 by another doctor, Anjean Ayres, and she says that it's the neurological process that organizes sensations from one's own body and the environment and makes it possible to use the body in that certain environment effectively. What she means by that is basically when you're more attentive to your body and you actually realize what you're doing and what you're feeling, you can actually be either more happy, more effective. Basically, you can be more. And you can use that when, for example, stepping outside, once again, you're stepping into the cold, and you feel how your body is fighting off the heat, no, the cold, and you can feel your cheeks reddening. And how does that make you feel? Question yourself about that. And all of these little things, like brushing your hand against the snow and then putting it back into cozy pockets of your favorite coat, all of these things, when you actually think about them, might have a calming kind of activity in your body. That was also proven to work in psychology when it comes to panic attacks. The second thing is finding your own connection. I started my speech by saying that I found something that was incredible, that moment of serendipity that I've never felt before. This is possible for absolutely everyone. I'm not original in that. Not at all. You might have found it already, or you're still searching for it in the mountains, in the ocean, anywhere else. Some other senses might be involved, not touching, hearing, and sight. And everything about that is completely valid, because you are nature. You are within nature. So it's always with you. And the first thing is actually engaging with any life forms, because it was also scientifically proven that people that are actually in an environment that is more diverse when it comes to plants and actually being in a workplace that has plants, people were more productive, were more effective. So engaging with any life form is equally as important as staying indoors. So I hope that one day, or maybe you have already, you can come back to Earth as well. Thank you.